months, or I think it's a
For
different.
Shabbat and festivals is the one I have.
Correct. That's the one. That's the one we've been giving. I have the pages for
Holidays.
the Shabbat and festival one. But there is one that includes everything, and that's the one that Nina got, I believe.
How is the Lev
Festival
Shalom?
and weekdays.
How is the Lev Shalom Siddur different from a Sim Shalom Siddur?
What it has? Have you seen the Lev Shalem Machzor? Even no, the brown one. Okay.
That's what you have.
Okay, so I will tell you what's different about it. And for anybody that's interested in purchasing one, either through Suzanne is showing it, either purchasing one through their synagogue or for yourself, it is very different.
Okay.
The other Sidurim, they're not very different. This one is very different, and there's 3 things that it has different. One is there's much more transliteration actually, because they realize that so a lot of the stuff that we sing out loud is in transliteration as well. There are 2 columns on the sides. Lynette is showing you. You see the middle is the prayers. On the sides, and some have more than others, is either a history of the prayer or a history of the philosophy, whatever. And on the other side, it's alternate versions. Like if it's a poem or something else that has the same basis as the prayer itself.
Yeah,
So
there's some beautiful
it is
poetry.
very different.
The poetry
Yeah,
is quite
really.
lovely.
I love to. I think I'd like to have a copy of it.
Yeah, I think it's worthwhile to have actually.
Definitely.
The Machzor came out first, and then a number of years later they came out.
What's the Maftir? Maftir?
It's the same. The Machzor is for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and Suzanne is showing it. See, we have such good
No, Celia is
students.
showing
They have
it.
everything here. That's the Machzor, and it's the same theory as what I talked to you about the Lev Shalem, with the middle being the regular prayers, more transliteration, more explanation, more alternate poems.
So if I was
prayers.
to buy one, which one should I? If I was to get
Well,
one,
it depends. One is for Shabbat and weekdays, and one is for the high holidays. So you could get what I would suggest if you're interested now is to get the Shabbat and holiday one. If you find you really like it, then maybe when it comes time next year for the holidays, you'll decide you want to get that.
The Mansoor is from my synagogue. I borrowed it for the High Holy Days, but this is my own copy of Lev Shalom.
Yeah, what we
That's why
did
it's
when we
covered.
bought it, we actually suggested that people buy one for the shul and one for themselves, so that you have your own. And that was a way to get when we bought them new to fill the shul a little bit. Anyway,
The commentary,
full sets.
the commentary, the poetry, it's so interesting and so good in this book. I just love reading it.
I agree.
It's just a fantastic book.
yeah, that's why I think I'm very interested in it.
I
really
think you would like it,
to do
Arlene.
that. Yeah, and the other thing is, I wish it had all the tunes.
It doesn't.
Well, it can't have. You know what?
I know.
It
How
can't.
do you get all the tunes?
Not only is there not space, but then people would rebel because their shul isn't in there, and that's not what we do. And no.
Too many.
that there's no room for that in there. But yeah, I do think it's for anybody that has not seen it. They really are beautiful books. That it's not just another Siddur.
Right.
Okay.
Gorgeous.
It really they added a lot.
Yeah, my synagogue adopted it about 6-7 years ago, and it's just such a beautiful book, and it has the festivals and everything.
Yeah, it also feels good in your hands, by the way. The cover and whatever, it's very smooth. It looks nice and feels nice, and there's a lot of very positive things in it. There are good things. I would recommend it for anybody to own.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our synagogue just started using it this year.
What do you think, Eileen?
I like it.
Yeah. I think it's worth it. And then if you really like it, Arlene, you can push your shul to get it.
I know the shul has the Sim Shalom. You know, monetarily now it's rough in the synagogues. You know,
The only thing I would say is when you buy
We lost you.
No, she's
Yeah.
there.
Arlene, again, we couldn't hear you.
Me?
Yeah.
There. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. What suggestion? And obviously, I'm not. First of all, I make no money on Easy to Ream. But what we did is when we got in our shul, we got the Sim Shalom was the new thing for us. We purchased that. The Eitz Chaim we had to purchase. The Love Shalem we purchased. And what we did is we asked for, first of all, sisterhood. Can I hurry up? Poo poo poo. Gave a chunk to buy a number of the books. And then you can suggest people buy one or two, or, most synagogues don't need any regular Sidurim, and it's a nice amount for people to give in memory and honor, whatever. And you can sort of fill them up that way. And if you buy them in bulk through the rabbinical assembly or whoever it is, the rabbi buys them, they're actually not that expensive per book.
Right.
Did they ever come up secondhand?
Not that I know of.
They're
The only
fairly
secondhand I
new.
know is people that take it from the shul. But no, I don't think so. First of all, shipping now, everything is so expensive also that, whatever. Anyway, you could look. You never know what you're going to find on the internet. You can find Torah pins on the internet, so you never know. But anyway, so let's get back to work.
Yep.
Any questions, comments, criticisms? Yes,
I have
Cindy.
comments.
Okay, Cindy first, and then Eileen.
Okay, good morning.
Good
Sorry
morning.
I was late coming on, but my
That's
computer
okay.
decided it hadn't updated its firmware, whatever that is. So last week we talked a lot about the two dots on top of each other.
Yeah.
And when in the beginner class, we were taught if it's at the beginning of the word, you pronounce it eh. If it's in the middle of the word, it ends the syllable and you don't say it. Then last week, you mentioned that if it is preceded by a short vowel, then it ends the syllable. What happens if it's preceded by a long vowel?
And the
Oh, you say
then,
that.
then it has the same sound as when it's at the beginning.
Is it at or eh?
It's really both ways. It's is really the three dots. The is the three dots in a triangle.
Right.
That's the
So it's eh.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
I think that when in the beginning, when they talked about just the beginning of the word or in the word, that just makes it easier. It's not always true, but it just, rather than trying to talk about long vowels and short vowels,
Right.
that way they avoid that problem, which is okay.
Okay, thank you.
And somebody else asked a question. Eileen, yes.
Okay, I was just surprised in the book that we're using, Ein Eloheinu.
Yeah.
It stresses the three parts of the Torah portion: the taking out the Torah, lifting it after the reading, and returning it. But it doesn't put very much emphasis on actually reading the Torah. And I thought that was just as important.
Well, the issue is, first of all, it's talking about the prayers, okay? It's not talking about the things that are important in the service. It's only talking about the prayers. The Torah reading, yes, you would have, first of all, you'd have none of that if you didn't have the Torah reading. The Torah reading itself is separate. That's not a prayer. Clearly, the Torah reading is the most important thing that happens on Shabbos morning. And certainly the most important part of the Torah service is the reading. But this book is not about the reading. It's only about the liturgy.
Okay. Can I just say one more
And it does,
thing?
just one second. It does talk a little bit about how we got to Torah reading and things like that. If I don't know how far you got or how far it is, but it does talk a little bit about the weekly Torah readings. But the Torah reading itself, it's not liturgy, so that's why it's not in here.
I have one more comment.
Sure.
Page 33 of the Ein Eloheinu, when we're doing the Eitz Chaim, the Mazakim Ba,
Mhm.
the English says the Torah is a tree of life to those who uphold it. But in the Hebrew, there's no mention of the word Torah on that first line. So I got
Well, we can get to that. Tell me what page you're talking about, so it just makes it.
page 33 of
Okay, there's also a problem in the English because they left out a word. or in the Hebrew, I forget which.
I think it's in English because there's no Torah. in
No,
the-
if anybody has the book, or if you in your Siddur, it's on in the Lev Shalem, it's 184. On the Sim Shalom, the Slim Shalom, it's 154. Oh, and 33 in the Ein Kelohenu. If everybody has gotten that. Okay, if you want to look at what Eileen's talking about, again, it's Lev Shalem 184, Slim Shalom 154, and 33 in our book. In the Hebrew, actually, it leaves out a word. Read
Yeah,
the first
yeah.
line, somebody yourself. You can read it to yourself. You don't have to read it out loud, and tell me what word is missing.
Torah.
No, Eitz Chaim He. The He is missing. Eitz Chaim He. Okay, it's missing the He. I don't know why.
I was looking at Torah. That was what I was focusing on. I didn't miss the key.
Well, the
Well,
He,
but the Atayim is the reference to Torah, isn't it?
the
it's
He
another
is a
name for it.
reference to Torah.
Oh, he, okay.
Oh,
The He is it, or he or she, really, but Torah is feminine. That's what it's talking about. That's what, missing the word, you can't. I looked at it and I said, this doesn't look right. So I went into my Siddur and I realized why it doesn't look right.
Is that, so that's just a typo, you think?
I presume. I know that's not the prayer. If you look at any Siddur, it's going to have the He there. So I assume it's a typo.
Next
Okay,
time they
so
should
if
hire me to be their proofreader and editor.
so if there's the the arrow that's pointing up, does that signify that a word should be in there?
Where is that?
After H Chaim, there's like on page 33 of the Ein Kelohenu, there's like a little arrow
Oh,
that's
the Eitz Chaim. Are you talking about page 33 again?
yes.
I don't have an arrow. I put an arrow in mine with the He on top. And then if you got it used, maybe somebody stuck that in because they realized there was a word missing too.
Okay. Well, no, this looks like it was
Because
printed.
that's not on mine either.
Okay, so I have the older edition.
Okay, so that's just a mistake. The thing should be the same. It was a mistake. Just a mistake in the book, in the printing.
Okay, thank you.
But the He is Torah. It's like my son. I always have this with my younger son. When you use a pronoun, who are you what are you talking about? Who are you talking about? He. Which he? And that's the issue here. It's a pronoun, but it really is talking about Torah. That's what the He is. Okay. Now, back to work. Any other questions? Really, that's what we're here for.
So what does the Hebrew word he mean?
She.
What does he mean?
It's actually
Is that
it.
who?
It's
What does
it
he
is
mean?
Torah. It's it. It's
Hmm.
feminine
He
because
means
Torah is
it.
feminine. There is no neuter in Hebrew, as in French and Spanish. All the Romance languages, I guess.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna do this quickly, if we can. I would really like to go over the prayers. Please, if you do not want to read, if you don't feel comfortable reading in front of the group, that's fine. Nobody has to volunteer, and I will not volunteer anybody. But if you ever feel like you want to have if you have somebody else to practice with, great. If you ever want to practice with me, I'd be more than happy to do that with you on a one-to-one basis. But I'm going to go back to the Ein Kelohenu because we're going to go quickly through the prayers that we've learned already. And it's page 182 in the Slim Shalom, and it's page, I have 182, 204 in the Lev Shalem, or page 10 or whatever in the Ein Kelohenu book, wherever you want to find it. Those are three possibilities. And I'd ask that the person that read one verse, which is 2 lines, 4 couplets. Anybody that would like to volunteer? I see Celia and then Joyce.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadunenu, Ein Kamalkenu, Ein Kamoshienu.
Perfect. Joyce,
Mi he lo henu, mi ha donenu, mi ha mo
Mal.
henu, mi ha moshi. Me is me,
Yes?
me ha mo she enu.
Perfect, exactly. I volunteer for Nodeh. Eileen, and then Patty.
Noda Lelohenu, Noda Ladonenu, Noda Lemalkenu, Noda Lemoshienu.
Perfect. Patty,
Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu.
perfect, exactly. One more volunteer, Susie. And then Lynette, if you want to read the last line, or I'll read it, whichever you want, or I'll get you next for Lynette. Jane, did you volunteer? I don't want to volunteer anybody. I can't keep track. Jane?
Okay.
Yeah.
Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu, Atahu, Kenu,
Adonenu.
Adonenu, Atahu Malkenu, Atahu Moshienu.
Perfect, exactly right. Does anybody feel comfortable? That's perfect. But you really have to look because each one of the second 4 words, we've read them 4 times already. The exact same word except for the prefix. Okay, the last line. Anybody want to be brave? Susie.
Okay, Atahu Shahik Shahik
Hiru.
Tiru
Good.
Avotenu
Good.
Lifnecha
Yeah, but a little bit easier. It's lifnecha.
Lifnecha.
Good.
Okay. At Kadoret. Is that right?
Yes, but it's et, not at. It's a 3 dots.
Oh, et Katore.
Ret.
Toret.
Good.
Hasamim.
Perfect. Exactly right.
Awesome.
Okay. Great. Okay.
However, so-
I have a
Sure.
question.
Yes.
I have a question on
Yes,
that last line.
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4, word number 5. So under the lamed, there's the shfa.
Yeah.
And then the
Lifanecha.
th sound. So
Yes.
is it lifanecha?
Exactly.
Can you say it again?
Lifanecha.
Live.
Fa.
Thank
Ne. Fa. Lifanecha. Okay. Okay. All right. We're done with the Enkilohenu. We're not going to look at that again until at least next week. And we're going to get to the Aleinu, right? That's the next one, I think. Yes, the Aleinu and Lev Shalem 205, Slim Shalom 183. It's the page right after Enkilohenu, I think. For everybody, it should be if you're in your Siddur, it's the page after Enkilohenu. Okay, and if you're if you're looking not at the Siddur, but in the textbook, it's page 18. Okay, if somebody would like to read. Lynette, yeah, you were that volunteer before, and then Eileen. If you feel still comfortable, Lynette. I didn't get you on the last one. But you're muted.
2 lines on Alenu?
Whatever you want, I'll let you go.
Okay. Alenu l'shabea la'adon hakol la'tate kedula v'yoser bereshit.
Great.
Selah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's enough. Okay, great. That's absolutely perfect. Okay, somebody else. And don't be intimidated. Some people obviously are a little bit more fluent than others, but you're not going to get more fluent unless you practice. Marlene, yes.
Ready?
Yeah, Marlene. Is she
Hello?
frozen?
I'm
Are you
here.
frozen?
Shalom asano kigoye haratzon. Below samano kamishpachot ha'adama.
Wait a second, I'm confused. I called her Marlene and I don't see Marlene.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Yeah, I called. You didn't
I
just
was
speak,
lit
right,
up, so
Marlene?
I thought it was.
You thought I was Eileen. It's okay. Eileen, I'll let you go and then Marlene. Read it again. I wasn't
just
looking.
read- Okay, all
I
right.
wasn't looking because I was trying to figure out who was talking. Sorry. Shalom.
Below
Sorry, shalom.
asano kigoye haratzon.
So,
Below
no.
samano.
Stop. That's where the one I did hear that. Ha'aratzot, not N.
You're right. Ha'aratzot. Below
Good.
samano kamishpachot ha'adama.
Perfect. Great. Okay. So, Marlene, you're still with us?
Yes, I am. I'm in the hotel, but I have Wi-Fi now.
Good. Shalom.
Hello, Sam Helkenu Kahem.
Good.
Vegoralinu. No.
Yeah, Vigoralenu. Good.
Vegoralinu. Kehol Hamanam.
Good. You want to finish? Do you want to do the Vanachnu?
Oh, sure. Va'anachnu Horim. Umushtachamim. Umudim.
Okay. Now somebody else want to do Lifnei. Somebody else want to rise. Arlene Schwartz.
Lifnei Melech Malhe Hamlahim Hakadosh Baruch Hu.
Good. Great. Another name for God. We have a lot of names for God, and one of them is Hakadosh Baruch Hu. The Holy One, blessed be He. Okay. Let's see. All right, this stops here. Sometimes on Shabbos in particular, and I'm going to get you, Patty, in 1 second. On Shabbos in particular, not on weekdays usually. On weekdays, sometimes this is done silently, and sometimes the first paragraph is sung. Usually you don't continue. On Shabbos and Yom Tov, oftentimes you'll continue and sing the next paragraph. But it's really singing, it's almost singing like a song. So we don't do that on weekdays. We don't, for sure don't do it in a house of Shiva. Okay, question. Somebody had a question.
I had a question.
Yes, Patty.
The line that starts with Lifnei Melech.
Yeah.
Why is the ch at the end of Melech? It looks like it's got a vowel sound tucked in there. Why don't you pronounce that vowel sound at the end of the word?
You don't never pronounce. You can't. It's the two dots. So the two dots will sometimes end the syllable. Remember?
Okay.
So that's what it's doing.
Okay.
So it would not have a sound because it's at the end. In the same way as if something is at the beginning and it does have the sound, at the end it doesn't have the sound ever.
Judy?
Yes, Marlene.
Is that true like in Todah or Rabbah that there's like
Well, there's a hey at the end, I think, at those words, right? I don't think there's any vowel under the hey. I think it's under the consonant before.
You're right. Thanks.
But those two dots in the beginning, somebody mentioned in particular in the beginning, at the beginning, it always has a sound. But at the end, it never does. Yes, Cindy.
Okay, I don't mean to be stuck on this, but is it Lifnei or Lifnei? Because you have a long E. I thought it was Lifnei, but.
I say it's Lifnei.
Okay, so it's just like a judgment thing?
When you can say it smoother or a little quicker or whatever, that's the way you should do it because that's the way it's going to be sung. And you can always get away with it. If you said it the other way, it's just a little bit more stilted anyway, and it doesn't quite come out as easily to me.
Right.
It probably should be lithine, but I would say lifnei for sure.
Okay. Last question about that. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Yes. Any other questions? Please, because this is a prayer we do a lot. So this one we do more than Kelohenu. Every service there's not a service that we do that we don't do the Aleinu in. Okay. I think we talked about it before. The Aleinu used to be said only on Rosh Hashanah, maybe Yom Kippur too. I'm not sure. And there was some kind of massacre in France, and the people were saying it, and they decided they liked it, and I guess also they wanted to be very patriotic in this, and so it became, people liked it. So it was one of those prayers that ended up getting added into the service, and it gets added into every single service always near the end. Okay, so we're done with that. We're done with this. We continue on. Now we're on Adon Olam. Okay, and the Slim Shalom. Yes.
Judi,
What?
one thing.
Arlene.
Yeah, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, don't be
But
sorry.
For some reason on this Aleinu or on the very bottom in the Sim Shalom, there's a little box there.
Yes. Amar. You want to sing that? You want to say it? Or
Yeah,
yes.
that's always in this. It's always in our service. They
Yes,
always
it
do
is
that.
always in. You do this silently, but then you always, whether you're singing it out loud or not, the leader, for sure, if he's doing it silently, not singing any of it, you'll only hear the leader do from the box. If you've done it out loud, the first part, then everyone will join in and that end where the box is. V'ne'amar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Vayom hahu yehiyeh Adonai echad ushmo echad.
Beautiful, Judy. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Not always good, but thank you. Yes. Okay. Yes. And that thank you, because that's important. That's something we do out loud for sure. For sure. Okay. Adon Olam. Another prayer that's done often. Page 25 in our textbook, 211 in Lev Shalem, and 187 in Slim Shalom, and just a couple of pages away from the Aleinu. Okay. Anybody want to start? And I would suggest that you do 2 lines, 4 little pieces, 1 verse. Okay, Arlene Fisher. You're muted, Arlene.
I know. I'm looking for. I was looking.
But it
Looking
looked
for the
like,
mute button.
I know sometimes it takes time to get to the place, but it looked like you were talking already. Okay.
No, I was saying I couldn't find my mute. The unmute. Okay.
Yeah, I figured.
Adon Olam, Asher Malach.
Good.
B'terem Hol. Yitzir Nivra.
Good.
Lietz Nasa.
Wait, was that? What was the first word?
Lachet.
La'et. It was, that's, I didn't hear a lamed, that's all. Yeah, good.
La'et Nasa. Behefsa Kol.
So cold.
Azai.
Yes.
Say that again, Judy.
So, that's a no. There's 2 O sounds. I'm the only one in that. So, oh, yeah. Good.
Azai Melech. Shemo Nikra.
Exactly. See there, you see the neek ends, and you did it just naturally. So it really does when it's I think when it's a hard vowel, it ends. We do it naturally even. It just sounds better. Okay, the next verse, anybody? Yes, no? Celia, I see. I don't know if you're waving a fly around or you want to read.
I'm gonna read. I even raised my hand on screen.
Yes, I see it now.
Ve'aharei Kish lot ha.
Wait, start again. I'm sorry, I can't, a little louder. I can't hear you.
Ve'aharei
Ray,
Ve'aharei Kish lot
Kich.
hakol. Kish
Good.
lot hakol.
good.
Levodo
Yes,
yim lauk nora.
good.
Vehu hayi
For who, what?
vehu
For who, after, but the who?
vehu haya
Good, Haya.
vehu ho ve
Good,
vehu ye he vetif ara.
good. Perfect. Okay. Now we're talking about God some more. He's the he. He's the who. Anybody else? You're gonna have to listen to me. Joyce,
והוא אחד ואין שני להמשיל לו
good.
להט
Ach,
בירה.
good.
Is that a hey or a ha at the end? Bira. Because I have a hey at the end in my book.
Yes, there's a
Leha,
hey. It has no sound really.
Bira,
Yeah.
or ha. Okay.
The hach bira. Yeah.
Billy Rashid. Billy Rashid. Billy Tachlit.
Good.
Velo ha oz the ha mi sarah.
Mis-
That word again.
Misra.
The hami sarah.
Right. Good.
Hami sarah. Okay.
Good. 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 Okay. So next verse, anybody? Jane? Good.
Vehu ati.
No.
No, wait. Is okay.
Ali. You see, it's an
Yeah.
aleph and then a lamed. Ali.
Ali. Vahai.
Good.
Go Ali.
Perfect.
Vehu ha.
Vitzor.
Oh, Vitzor.
Good. You went down instead of over. Yes. Sorry.
Vitzor. Hali.
Te. 3 dots. Te.
Heli.
Good.
Vitzi.
The 8. The tzadi
Sarah.
and the ayin are very similar looking. The tzadi is a little bit more to it. Where's the tzadi? Where is it? Where is it?
Sari.
Right above tzara. The 8 tzara.
Oh, Sarah.
Okay, that's the tzadi. You see the difference in the shape of the letter? The one line goes all the way down, or it cuts into it. That's the difference between the ayin and the tzadi. Okay, sorry.
It's sure.
I,
No, it's Vitai. So, Usi, Usmanosli, Ma, Com,
Manat.
Minat.
See, is that where you're?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bayim, Hara. Not so good.
Okay, I'm lost, and it's not you, it's me, because when I was doing that, looking for the tzadi, I got lost here.
I'm on line 8 on page 25.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. The who, nisi, umanos,
Manosli,
li. Good.
Ma,
Not.
Manat, Si,
Good.
Ba, Yim,
Yom. The dot on top.
no, the yom ata'achara.
The k, it's like this is a real, this one you don't have to worry about the ch or the k. This is a k sound. Ekra.
Ekra.
When it looks like a backward C, that could be, that's with the dot, it's a K. Without a dot, it's the ch. But this is a K sound, ekra. Good. Okay, one more. Cindy.
Okay. Bayado, Afki,
Good.
Ruhi, Big Eight,
The 8. There's no yeah.
the 8, Ishan,
Good. Exactly.
the Ayira,
Yes.
the
well.
the Yim, Ruhi,
Again, read it again.
the Im,
Good. Thank you.
Ruhi, give a ya. Wait.
No. Sound it out. You can sound it out.
Gaviyati.
Exactly. Exactly right.
Gaviyati. Adonai, Li, Velo, Ira.
Perfect. Okay. Great. Great. It's definitely getting better. Thank you. And as you recognize the sounds, and as you recognize the vowels, and as you recognize the words, hopefully it will be more easily read. But really look when you're reading, and look what other people are reading, and look when you're singing when you go to shul. And it will get easier. Hopefully it's gotten easier for all of you. Okay, now we're moving along here. When we're ever going to get this done. Okay, we did the alarms or finished the service already. Okay, now we're going backwards, and we're going to do Sim Shalom. In the Slim Shalom, it's page 161. In the Lev Shalem, it's page 201. And the textbook, it's 28. So let me get to where I am in the Sim Shalom. It's 161. And this is at the end of the Amidah.
What page is it in, Lev?
Lev Shalem, it's on page 201.
Thank you.
And Shalem also comes to the same root as Shalom, by the way. The same root, which makes sense. It's whole or full or piece. It's all same idea. Okay, page 161, if somebody would like to read. Anybody? I see you, Marlene. You are muted. Yes, Marlene, you are still muted. Yes.
Now I'm unmuted. Okay, sorry. I'm going
Yes.
between. Okay.
Yeah.
Sim shalom, tova, uvacha.
No. You left out a word. Sim Shalom. Then what's the next word? Oh, this is
Tova.
different. What? I'm in the wrong place. Sim
Am I
Shalom.
on page 28 in the Ein Kelohenu?
Yeah.
Am I reading it wrong?
I'm on the wrong. Went to the wrong page in the
Okay.
Second.
No,
Shalom.
there's a word missing.
Yes, it's different. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm like thinking. I'm saying, is it me or is it her? It's me. In the Siddur, it says Sim Shalom Ba'olam. Well, we don't say that. Sim Shalom. We don't say Ba'olam. Okay. Yeah. So whichever way, I won't correct it, but anybody knows. In the textbook, it does not have Ba'olam. In the Siddur, it does. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, Marlene, it's not you, it's me. Okay, keep going.
1 second, please.
Sure.
You know, Judy, in the textbook, it has ba'olam at the end.
Yeah, they just rearranged the words.
The word, it's got all the words,
I'm
not the same word.
repeating my thing now.
I'm trying to sing it and seeing how it would be in. That's
They-
very funny.
They put 1/3, they put ba'olam third in the prayer
Really
book
supposed to be
and
practicing
last in the textbook.
Very funny.
Okay.
I'm
Judith,
trying to sing it and figure out how we usually do it. Yes, Eileen.
I just want to say that Sim Shalom is on page 165, 191, and 201 of the left Shalom.
Yes, it will be, first of all, if it's the end of the Amidah, how many Amidahs do we do on Shabbos morning?
1.
No, actually, well, it depends on when you come in and when you leave.
Amida,
But
2 of them, we do the
actually-
Amida and the Musaf.
Exactly. And there's going to be another Amidah in here also, because there's one for festivals and there's going to be one there too. And so there will be multiple ones. Like if you look in your Siddur, you're going to have multiple Elenus too. I just picked the one that was at the end of the Shabbos morning service, but you could pick the one that's at the end of Mincha. You could pick the one that's at the end of Mariv. So yeah, it will be in more than one place.
Okay.
Judy, I have a question.
Sure.
I'm confused. I was starting to read this out loud and I thought that the words in the Ein Keloheinu are in the correct order. Have I missed something? I'm just going to go back. I'm switching between my screen and the book. Hold on a second.
Yeah. I'm trying to sing and sing how it sounds.
Okay, so
Shalom,
Shalom. Okay,
So when we go
because
back-
unless there's a different tune, seem
Sim
shalom,
shalom,
seem shalom tova uvraha ba'olam seem.
Yes, yes,
Is
that's
that-
the way we
is
usually
that-
sing it. Yes, that's why we're
Okay,
singing
we're
junior
obviously-
congregation. Yes,
That's how we sing in our congregation,
Yes.
but I'm still focusing on the Hebrew words because we're all studying Hebrew. So
exactly. So I
obviously,
think the point is that if you can read it when you're singing along, you can do it. But this is really just practice also for reading, but it's good to notice the difference because then we can be aware of it.
okay.
Thank you.
So the words are correct in the correct order. Seem shalom tova
Yeah.
uvraha
Good.
ba'olam.
Okay.
That's the correct words and the correct pronunciation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Keep going.
Head. Hold on. Hey. No.
Pain. Yes.
Hein v'chesed barachamim.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple more words and you'll get to the end of a sentence.
Elena v'akol Yisrael. Amen.
But what's the last word?
I mean,
No.
No, hold on. Amecha. Amecha.
Amecha. Exactly.
Amecha. I'm sorry.
Good. Good.
Elena v'akol Israel. Amecha.
Yes.
I
Your
misspoke.
people.
I
Your
misspoke.
nation.
I
Amecha.
misspoke.
Yeah.
I went into autopilot. Thank you
You
for
got too
catching me.
carried away with yourself. You're so
Thank
good.
you
Yes,
for-
Arlene Fisher.
Keeping me honest.
Yes.
I have a request
Sure.
because I'm having a hard time hearing. If
Yes.
everybody can mute themselves
Yeah,
except when
sorry, you
they're
were muted and then now we weren't
talking, when
muted.
they're reading.
Yes, you can unmute yourself when is everybody doing that? Because I can do it too. I can control it. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. If there's a problem, please speak up. Okay, good. Okay, so yes. Okay, so we finished Kol Yisrael Amecha. Where next is Barcheni us. Bless us. Any volunteers? Arlene Schwartz and then Cindy.
Barhenu, is that where we are?
Yeah, exactly.
Barhenu, Avinu, Kulanu,
Good.
Ku Ehad,
Good.
Baru,
No, but
Be,
yeah,
Beor,
exactly.
panecha.
Good, good. See, you see the words that we've seen again and again. We've seen some of these words. So hopefully, you know, they'll click a little bit. You want to keep reading? You can read a little bit more if you'd like, Arlene.
The key, the or
Good,
panecha. Okay, paneha.
good.
Paneha.
Yes.
Not tata
Yeah, exactly.
lanu. Not
Good.
tata lanu. I'm not sure about that.
Adonai.
It's
No vowels. It's Adonai. Yod Hey Vav Hey.
Adonai Eloheinu. Tarat
Good.
Hayim
Yep.
V'Havat
Good.
Chesed.
Chesed. The
Hesed.
line down doesn't mean anything.
Hesed.
It's the
Hesed.
same
That's-
vowel.
Marlene just used Hesed. That's the word she used. Kindness, right? With
Yes.
kindness.
Yes.
Marlene
Yes.
used chat. Hesed. Okay.
Chesed. Exactly right.
I'll
Yep.
let someone take over. Somebody else. Yeah.
Okay.
There.
Utstaka. Tzedek. Tzedakah. Cindy.
Uzraka,
Utstaka. Yeah.
Uracha,
Good.
Viracha, Mim,
Good.
Haramim,
Ugh.
V'Hayim,
Hayim.
V'Hayim,
Good.
V'Shalom,
Good.
V'Tov,
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a hard time with my glasses and seeing vowels, sorry.
That's okay.
Necha,
Good.
Lib. Now, what is that? 2 dots, 1 dot?
2 dots under the Levarech.
Levarech.
Good.
That's Amcha,
Good.
Yisrael,
Good. Good. Fabulous.
B'Kol 8, the
Ooh.
Uve Kol,
Good.
Sha'a.
Yes, exactly.
Anybody else want to read?
Just one more word, then is at the end of the
Okay.
sentence.
Mishlo Mach.
Necha. Good. It's also, this is from Shalom. Shalom is in there, just with a prefix and a suffix. B is in, and the cha is you. It's in your peace, your gift of peace. So that's all in that one word. Okay, the last sentence. To have a volunteer. Lynette.
Baruch atah Adonai varech et
Good.
hamo Yisrael b'shalom.
Good. Good. Bashalom. Perfect. Okay. Good. You recognize the words where we talk about Ain again. That's the same Ain from Ein Keloheinu. Echad is the Shema, is the same one. And Elenu is the same Elenu. So please, we're there. We're getting into it. Okay. I'd like to do a little bit of, yes,
Judy, how do
questions.
you know it? How do you know Adonai? It's just from knowing Hebrew? Is that how?
Because they don't, they want to show that when it used to be written out, they would write the Yud Hey Vav Hey, and they put the vowels underneath it for Adonai. So that's how they actually got to Jehovah, because of the Y and the J. And we don't know how to pronounce it. So instead of trying to put it in and fake it and whatever, and whenever you talk about, if you talk about, like some people say Hashem, when they say Hashem, it's instead of the Yud Hey Vav Hey. People will say, which of the names of God? The Yud Hey Vav Hey is, some people say Hashem. So instead of putting fake vowels underneath it, which it wouldn't, couldn't read Adonai then either. It really never said Adonai. It was the yud with the vowels under it. They've chosen to put yud hey vav hey and show that's Adonai. That's as close as God's name as we can get, and that's how it's written. God's name is not God. And so you really can write God, God. That's not God's name. God's name is Yud Hey Vav Hey. And I say Adonai anyway and not Hashem, especially I wouldn't do it in here because we're practicing for liturgy, for prayer. So
Judy, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Is there flashcards around? You know,
Is
like
what?
look, I was a first, second, third grade teacher. We made flashcards. We made flashcards for these kids to learn how to read English. Okay. So is there flashcards around with like these common words, or you don't even know? Or I should ask
I have no idea. There certainly could be. If you look in this book, they will tell you what they think are the common words.
Yeah.
And what are the words that are similar to or a form of. In this book, they do have that. I don't know.
There used to be flashcards. I can say that because we had them for our kids.
Yeah, you know what I'm going to ask in my Hebrew school. If they
You
still
could
got
make your own.
Yeah, but it's a pain in the
Now
neck.
with printers and with
do
the
it,
computers and whatever, you can do whatever you want.
I suspect though, if you went online and looked for Hebrew words or flashcards or prayers, you might be able
Sure,
to find
they
it.
exist somewhere. Honestly, I would be surprised if they didn't exist. Okay, what 11:53? Okay, there's a little bit we did do the Torah service. Okay, now the next part is actually the Torah service. We used to walk around with the Torah. I don't know if any of you are walking around with your Torahs these days. I know we're not. We're taking it out of the ark and putting it on the Amud. But it used to be that we walked around. It was sort of part of it was imitation of when Moses and the people wandered with the Torah. And part of it is because we want to give Torah should be available to all people. So we bring it to everyone in the shul. We can, in page 32 in the Ein Kelohenu, page 168 in Lev Shalem, and 139 in the Slim Shalom. Not 138, I wrote 139. Yeah, I wrote 139.
What page in the workbook?
In the workbook, it's 32. When some people, if you're in the Siddur, some shuls, people get up at the beginning of the page. You don't really have to get up there. You have to get up when the ark is opened. Whenever the Torah is out and up, and it's sort of up when it's there, we stand. So we usually sing the first part. I don't know why they chose not to include it in this book. At some point, if we wanted to do that, we can, but they don't include it here. They start where we rise as the ark is open. Page 32 in the workbook, Lev Shalem 168, Slim Shalom 139. Would anybody like to read? If not, you're going to have to listen to me. Yes, Celia?
Where do you want me to? Okay. I'm looking at Lev Shalom. Where do you want me to start?
Lev Shalem, it should be on 168. I don't have it open for me myself. I found it, but I don't have it open.
You want from Main Kamoka?
I want it from Vayehi bin Soah.
Okay.
We rise as the ark is open.
Vayehi bin Soah.
Good.
Ron va ve Omer.
Vayomer. It has it. It's there. there are two dots under the yud, so it has a
Yomer.
consonant sound.
Moshe.
Good, yes. The dot, it's a little tricky because the dot serves two purposes there. It has it's for the shin and the O. But eventually we'll realize that it's we talked about Torah reading, you read Vayomer Moshe a lot. It's a very common phrase, Moses said. Okay.
I could keep going.
Yeah. Anybody else? Or you want to keep going?
Keep going. Mer Adonai.
Uma. Yeah.
Uma Adonai.
Good.
Ve'yif zo. Okay, there's a dot.
Yafutsu. See that? Yafutsu.
Ve'yafuso.
Good.
Oveka.
Oh, that exactly right. You ignore the yud; it has no sound.
Ve'ya.
Ovecha. Sometimes there are those yuds there, but they actually have no sound. There's no way to sound either one of them. Or you could be oivecha, but it's really ovecha. Yeah.
Oveka. Ve'ya. Nu. So. Miss. Is that one dot?
Ooh.
Two?
Exactly. When it's in the belly, it's a ooh.
Sa.
Yes.
Neck. Me. Fa.
Good. Good. Put it together and it's misanecha, mi panecha.
Mi panecha.
Okay.
Mishaneka. Mi paneka.
Exactly. Now we sing this. Anybody else want to volunteer? Jane.
Ki mitzion seto say.
Good.
Torah.
Good.
U ra.
No, it's not. Remember Dalet and Rash. There's a Dalet.
U. Da. Adonai.
The davar, but just look at the davar because then it's easier for look in your siddur and look at the font so you can see the difference between the dalet and the resh. Okay, do you see it? The resh is more smooth. The dalet comes out. Okay.
So can you pronounce that word again?
Udavar.
Udavar. Adonai. Mi ra usha shalom.
Read it again. It's a word you know.
Me.
Take away the me and read it.
Me. Ru shalom.
No, read the vowels at the end. You gave up at the end.
Oh. Ru shalom.
Now read it again. Mi Yerushalayim.
Mi Yerushalayim.
Exactly. From Jerusalem. Okay. They carried it. Okay. From Jerusalem. Okay. One more line. Anybody volunteering? I don't see anybody's name and it's now 11 o'clock. So I'm going to read the last line. Baruch Shenatan Torah La'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. Okay. I'm going to start here next week because I'd like to try to move forward. And if we have time, we'll read back just because I'm here and time to do other things. Okay. We'll talk a little bit also about the Torah itself, how much we read, how much we don't read. I don't know about your particular shuls. There are options. Does anybody know how many times in a shul that does all the davening you can do? How many times a week Torah is read? In a normal week, no chagim, no holidays.
During the week twice, I think.
Monday
Good,
and
yes.
Thursday.
And
4 times a week?
And Saturday.
exactly, both
Monday,
are correct.
Thursday.
Because we read it normally, we'll read it in the morning and we read it in the afternoon. If we have afternoon services on our synagogues on Shabbos, we'll read it Shabbos afternoon, Monday morning and Thursday morning. Does anybody know why we read Monday and Thursday?
Was that the market day? So
Exactly
everybody was
right, the
out
market
there?
day.
That's
So
what I
people
was
were
told.
together. They didn't have to schlep people for a minyan. They had them there. So they would do it. And we read the Shabbos morning one, and then in the afternoon we start the next week. So it goes the afternoon, we read the same thing as we're going to read Monday and Thursday, and then but just the first part of the Torah reading for Saturday, for the next Saturday. Yes, and they didn't always have the weekly parshiot. They used to read different amounts, but then obviously everything gets canonized and it's easier. One more difference in our shuls is some shuls will do the entire parsha, the entire reading for the week, and some will do. Does anybody not read the whole one? Eileen.
We do the triennial.
Right, the triennial, and that means who knows English? What's triennial?
The third portion.
Exactly, 1/3. So you actually finish the Torah instead of in 1 year, you finish it in 3 years. Exactly. And a lot of it, I think the basis is if you have people that read Torah, if you have a lot of people that are good at reading Torah, if you have people that you pay to read Torah, that's the difference between using the triennial or the annual cycle. Okay. So we will learn more about that. We'll learn a little bit about what an aliyah is and the choreography around it, and even the choreography of the Hagba and Glila. So please, everybody, have a wonderful week, a Shabbat Shalom, and I'll be in New York next week. I don't know if everybody else will be home, but I'll be in New York.
I will be home.
Good.
Come
So
to
we'll all be home.
Habonim. Come to Habonim.
I actually have wanted to do that. Actually, the Schwartzes, when we first left, had offered that if none of their Israeli company was there, that we could stay with them. And when we came, so I don't know how she's doing now, but whatever. I miss
It's so
Habonim.
sad. Yeah.
I miss Habonim. Anyway, to everyone, if you do any other any minute things that you're dying to question or ask. I don't want you to have to hold it a week. No? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Shabbat Shalom to everyone.